Previously on One Tree Hill.
Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker and sexual astronaut. First up, guys, please check out our fourth feature film for free over on YouTube. Just search for Little Monster or click on the link in the show notes below. This episode, I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Daniel Mark Young of Viral Films. Dan, thank you so much for joining us on the show this week. Moving on then, so you've released the film then to your crowdfunding backers.
The plan was originally to get it on Amazon, this sort of standard sort of thing we've done with in the past with our shorts and stuff like that. But we decided, because we had a bit of a struggle getting it out there on time, we did a live stream on YouTube. It was a one-off. So unfortunately, if you didn't see it, you've missed it. But yeah, it's coming out on. It'll be out on various different platforms over the coming months. It's a slow process.
Are you looking at any sort of festivals, or are you just looking at getting it online?
Yes, it's a bit of both. I mean, we've submitted to a handful of festivals. Nothing that's sort of coming up too soon. We yet to hear back. So obviously it's a massive process, isn't it? Of whittling things down. So hopefully we get selected for a few of those. Again, not that many, just a handful of ones that we felt it fits, the criteria for. But yeah, I mean, the main plan is just to get it out there, get it as many places as we can. I have signed a deal with a streaming service, but I can't talk about that at the moment. So that's something that's definitely going to be coming out. Hopefully it'll be out in a matter of weeks. But other than that, it's going to be the sort of slow process of trying to get it as many places as possible. So ideally, it's going to be out on Amazon. Ideally, it's going to be here, there, and everywhere. So there should be places to view it. It's just taking time at the moment to kind of. The main aim was to get it ready for our backers for Halloween this year. That was the big sort of push there.
Was there any plans for further kind of physical release of it at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously initially to try and save money in terms of the crowdfund, we did everything digital only. But yeah, it's something I'd like to do. I'd definitely like to do it. Whether or not it's something that people would go for, I don't know. I've had a few people sort of turn around and ask me the same question and be like, yeah, I'd really be interested in it. So there seems to be a little bit of a potential want for it, so we'll see about that. Yeah, I'd love to do something like that. Obviously it's not going to happen until next year. If that's the case, we might even wait until it's out everywhere else and just see how that is. If there's still people that want that, we'll potentially do a physical release, and if we do, it's something that hopefully proceeds will go towards a sequel or something like that.
It's one of those funny things, isn't it? It's because of the nature of the film, it feels like it only should be online, being a horror fan, I've got my collector's instinct. I do like getting the indie stuff on, Blu-ray, DVD, whatever is out there. So I would definitely be putting down cold hard cash for a copy of that on some sort of.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like I said, I'm similarly minded. I kind of I want things physically, so I do have my own physical copy of it that I burnt off myself. Had to be done, but in terms of getting out a physical version that we can distribute to everyone, I'd love to do it. It's something I will look into, but it's a case of my focus at the moment is getting it out there, trying to promote it, get it in front of as many people as possible, and just see where we go with it. If it's popular enough, definitely something we'll do. But it's just a matter of timing and getting everything ready and all the assets sorted for that. So yeah, it's something I definitely want to do. If we do something like that, I want it to be special. I don't want it to be just a vanilla release. I want to do the full works on it. So yeah, I think we might even go back and do some extra commentaries or something for it, or put together. I've got hours of behind the scenes footage, so I might even just put together a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, who knows? Special collector's edition or something. I don't know.
And congrats then. Obviously, it's early days and you can't talk about it, but congrats on being in talks with. Did you say a streaming option anyway?
Yes, we know we're definitely getting it on a service. But I can't, and I've signed a contract for it, but I don't want to sort of, these things can fall apart, so I don't want to sort of go, putting all my eggs in one basket kind of thing. And hopefully it's, I said, it's going to be pushed out to a lot of, or potentially put in front of a lot of big streaming services, whether or not they want to take it on and have it on there is another thing. That's something that they're, obviously that's a decision they got to make. But we're trying to get it in front of as many people as possible. So yeah, fingers crossed.
So going back to kind of crowdfunding in general, then was this your first experience of running a crowdfunding campaign?
No, we did. We've been doing crowdfunding since Run. So Run was crowdfunded. Even though we didn't make all the money that we wanted to on that one, we still managed to make it. And yeah, Full Hair was crowdfunded as well. And then we were trying to do the crowdfund for Warehouse, but we didn't get the money for that one. And then we just sort of decided we'd probably be better off looking into that at a later date as a feature film. So there's still like the idea of doing that, but I just don't know yet because it's a lot of dollar. So it's sort of,
Sorry about werewolves, man. Werewolves are expensive to do.
They are, yeah. So we want to sort of, we have a really cool story and a really cool concept, and it's something that we don't want to half-ass. So when the time is right, that's something we'll revisit and we want to do, but I don't want to go doing that before we have everything in place to do it and do it right. So yeah.
And which platform did you use for the Black Abyss campaign?
So we did it on Indiegogo. I think that's pretty much what we're sticking to for most of our stuff now. We did use Kickstarter for a while, but we had some issues with it for some reason. I don't know why. And we ended up, because I think for the initial launch of this, we wanted to launch the campaign earlier than we did. And we were waiting for Kickstarter to approve some things, and so for some reason they had some issues, and we couldn't get. And we just said, screw it, let's just port everything over to Indiegogo and do it there where we know we can run a campaign because we've done it so many times before. So
the target you had on Indiegogo was 1,000. Is that right?
Yeah, it's thereabouts. It's about £1,000. Yeah.
And with that, then again, apologies, man. It was over a year ago. Yeah. Did you hit your goal with that?
Yeah, we exceeded it by a little bit.
I
think we were like 103, 104%, something like that. Yeah, so it was a little bit over, which is nice. Yeah.
And did you prepare kind of? You said you did the concept trailer, if you like. Did you prepare like a lot of extra material to kind of keep people interested during the duration of the campaign?
So we were putting out production diaries and stuff like that during production, and anything we could just to kind of because again the actual production went over a long period of time. It felt like we have to keep saying to everybody back that like, yes, we're still doing this, don't worry, we're not we've not run away to another country with your money or anything like that. We're still working on it.
I think that is a great thing to do, because I've backed a lot of indie campaigns, and a lot of them there's radio silence, and you're kind of like, is this happening or whatever?
Yeah.
And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, and in terms of drip feeding us the behind the scenes stuff, that was great, because not only are you getting the message, we're still making this, guys, but you're gifting people a site, and especially again, you'd be better placed to tell us the makeup of the people backing it, but it's people usually who are fascinated in the actual making of films, whether they want to make films themselves or they're just interested in that. Did you find that was the case with the people like donating to your campaign?
Yeah, I mean, obviously aside from like the usual sort of friends, family, etc., that kind of stuff, yeah, the bulk of people that were putting down like buying like the higher tier stuff, buying like the associate producer or co-producer credits, things like that, yeah, they're mostly sort of people, well, not necessarily people we knew, but the ones we knew were from the filmmaking world. And obviously when we sort of attach IMDb credits and stuff like that, we find out that they've got other credits for other movies, so it's obviously something there. Like I say, they get behind a lot of other projects and stuff like that, and they're obviously into film stuff. So yeah, we do find that's the case most of the time. Yeah.
So would you definitely consider crowdfunding in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we were lucky. Obviously, we had an investor in the first place. And that was kind of almost a fluke in a way, that worked out the way it did. So I feel like, yeah, it's definitely a necessity for us. It has been, and I'm sure it will be for the foreseeable future. Anything we want to get done, it's a case of that's something we're gonna have to sort of look into crowdfunding. you know, unless we see how things go with this. I mean, unless someone wants to throw money at us to make another one, you know, I'm all for it. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's hitting the drawing board and going back to the crowdfunding. And but it's great because it gives people, it puts the project in front of people before you even started as well, which is great. It's, if you do it right, it can be a really cool promotional tool, you know, especially again because we did that concept trailer as well. That helped. I mean, even you guys, you know, got behind the whole thing, and you contributed to, and you showed the concept trailer as well.
It's a new kind of, not just a source of revenue, which is great, obviously, but it is, yeah, absolutely a new way of generating interest in the project. We had, when we did Little Monster, that was really effectively just a pre-order campaign
Yeah,
for the DVD. We'd already, shot the film and everything like that. Um, but we actually found that, we made so many more, like contacts or other horror fans who didn't know our stuff before the Indiegogo campaign. And, now they're following everything that we do, since then. So that was
yeah,
great. That was, a pleasant side effect that we hadn't at all planned for. And definitely something that, going forward, we considered doing a crowdfunding campaign of some sort, but more crowdsourcing, I suppose, in terms of, yeah, building the audience via, yeah, platforms like Indiegogo or whatever. So yeah, it was a brilliant way. And again, kind of one of those happy accidents. So based on your
yeah.
experiences of this campaign, dude, is there anything that you would do differently, like on your next crowdfunding campaign?
And I mean, no, not really. I mean, to be fair, we've done this a fair few times, and we always go. We look at other people's campaigns before we do anything. We go have a little snoop about, see what else is about, and if there's anything similar to what we're doing on there, how they've gone about it, are they being successful, what have they done different, is there something they're doing that we aren't, and then we assess it and we just kind of go, right, okay, cool, well, like I said, we didn't do concept trailers for anything else, and so we said, right, we're going to do a concept trailer. That's going to help, and especially with something like this, because this project's kind of difficult to explain. It's all in the presentation. Like, a lot of the work is in the presentation, and so we wanted a concept trailer was a perfect way to get across what the end result was going to be, or near enough, without having to sit there and explain every little detail of it. So that was a massive benefit. And yeah, I think it's just a case of just seeing what other people are doing, and kind of just seeing what trends work, do a little bit of research and that, and just see what works. And but yeah, I think put as much detail and effort and time into it as you can. And I feel like our campaign for Her and for Warehouse and for this, if you look back on those, which were all done through Indiegogo, I think, there's so much detail in, like, there's just pages of stuff. You can sit there all day and read through it, and there's other videos we shot, not just the campaign thing or the pitch video. There's other bits we throw in there as well, and then if we do sort of an interview or something like that, we will embed that, and just keep building on it. So there's just so much stuff. If anyone comes across it, they can go, right, okay, I can tell there's a lot of work going into it and effort going into it. And so we just try and put in as much detail as we possibly can, as much information as we possibly can, so that people aren't like, oh, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem, like a thing that's going to really go anywhere, or like, yeah, you want people to have confidence in you.
Dan, thank you so much. I think we're coming up to almost two hours of a chat, man. So thank you so much for your time on
Yeah,
that
no
one.
worries.
I think there's going to be some absolute nuggets there for other filmmakers, to get up and actually make their own stuff. Really appreciate your time there. As I said, we'll drop links to any sort of social media that you want us to kind of steer towards, and of course, when Into the Black Abyss Death Stream is out there, we'll be definitely linking to it. I encourage you all, as soon as it's available, to catch the film. It is a fantastic slice of found footage, creepiness, and yeah, genuinely in a format I haven't seen before. And yeah, Dan and his whole team have kind of used the found footage format, and especially the live streaming format, to create an amazing tale, which, like, hits a number of horror buttons. And so yeah, can't sing its praises enough. So Dan, thank you very much. Would you do us the great honor of perhaps joining us in about a year, and we can have a catch up again, talk about how the release of Deathstream went, and obviously whatever you're working on next.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on, man.